During afternoon tea, there's a shift in the air, a bone-trembling chill that tells you she's there. There are those who believe the whole town is cursed, but the house in the marsh is by far the worst. What she wants is unknown, but she always comes back. The specter of darkness. The woman in black.
I haven't got my microphone. I forgot to bring my microphone down because I'm an idiot. I hope you can hear me, by the way. I forgot to test it. I usually test all this beforehand, but I'm in a bit of a rush and I forgot. I'm hoping it's working. The little thing on the microphone thing's going up and down, so I presume we're working. Right, so there you saw the trailer for The Woman in Black with a terrible little American kid doing a voiceover. God knows why. Maybe it was the American trailer, I don't know. But that's the film we're doing this week, The Woman in Black from 2012, starring Daniel Radcliffe. So let's hit the trailer and then we'll get on with the film. Right, I'm back. So, anyway, welcome to the show. Hope it's not too scary. I'm going to start with saying, don't forget, like and subscribe and share the videos, and drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. And I'm also on Rumble, Spotify, and other places, Amazon Music Podcasts and Google Podcasts. And you can also find me on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Links are all in the description for all that. As I've linked to me 2 books, might as well plug them. Silent Predator, a short horror novella, appropriately so, about big cats running amok in North Yorkshire. And Mercury Rapids, as light-hearted sci-fi action adventure. They're both on Amazon Kindle paperback. Just a bit of fun. Right, so The Woman in Black. So this is I've got to admit, one of my favourite modern, chillers. It could be classed as a horror film, I suppose. I don't know. It's one of these weird things, I think. What's a thriller or a horror film or a chiller? It is a horror film. There are some horrific things in it. But anyway, as I said, directed by, I didn't say, but I'm going to now, directed by James Watkins, who I think was most famous for Eden Lake, which I've not seen, but I've heard it's really good. But he went on to do this. And written by, the screenplay was written by Jane Goldman, who's done quite a few big films. Before this, she was most famous for being Jonathan Ross's wife, the British celebrity TV presenter. She's most famous for being his wife, the very buxom Jane Goldman. But there we go. What else? It stars Daniel Radcliffe in one of his first films after he finished doing Harry Potter. But he plays a good part in this, so he's showing that his life after Potter, and he has shown that in other films. Also stars Kieran Hines, good old reliable Kieran Hines is an amazing actor, and some others, familiar faces that you might have seen on British telly or movies. What else have we got to say about it before we start looking at it? It says here, thanks to Wikipedia, I can't say I've done massive amounts of research, but it says the film was planned to be shot in 3D, but the idea was later scrapped. Thank God, it'd have been a bit naff, wouldn't it, in 3D? But it might have been amazing, with it looming out at you. And it says the exterior shots of Eelmarsh House were filmed at Cotterstock Hall near Oundle in central England. I don't know where Oundle is. Does it say? Oundle is a market town of the left bank of the River Nene in Northamptonshire. Oh, there you go. The fictional Nine Lives Causeway leading to it, to Eelmarsh House, was filmed at O-sea Island in Essex. Oh, there we go. Oh, well, there you go. There's well, you can't see it. I'm looking at it on the on the Wikipedia, a picture of O-sea Island. The village of Crithin Gifford was filmed at Holston Gill, north of Settle in the Yorkshire Dales. Oh, I've been there, but not Holston Gill. I've been to Settle. When I was a kid, went with the school for a week to Settle. What else? I think that's about it. That's all we need to know, innit? So let's just get on with the film. As usual, I'm not just going to play the film, and we're going to watch it in a series of stills. I might play the odd little snippet. But let's just get on with it and we'll see how we go. Right, let's fire it up. Let's fire it up. Where are we? There we go. So we start off with lots of... oh, by the way, it's often touted this is a Hammer film, but there's like a million production companies that are going to pop up here. There you go, there's one. CBS Films and that, Cross Creek Pictures. Then we get Hammer. And then there were some others as well that were mentioned, the UK Film Council and stuff like that. But anyway, it looks like this is doing some good skipping, by the way. Sometimes they skip single frames, and sometimes they do all sorts of weird stuff. Before we start, I'll get my chat box up. In case anybody decides to appear, I've pressed the wrong button. I've done the wrong chat box. We need the red one, don't we? There we go. Right, we're off, right. In case anybody pops in. Right, where were we? Right, so the film starts. As I said, it's classed as a Hammer film. Not the first, when Hammer was revitalised. It wasn't, I think it's about the third film, I think. There was a film before this called The Resident, starring, I can't remember her name. But it had Christopher Lee in it. What's her name now? Me and names. As soon as I turn the camera on, every name that's in my memory disappears. And that played that boxer in $1 Million Baby. It's got her in it. Which is a decent film. But the one before that, starring Timothy Spall, and I can't remember what that's called either, but it was set in Ireland. I think that's the first one of the new Hammer films. Anyway, but I don't know if have they stopped making them? I haven't heard of one for a while, but I'll have to do some research and see. Anyway, so we start off. There's some little girls playing, having a tea party with their dolls in a room, and they're all having fun and smiling at each other, and then suddenly they look over at somebody. Who could this be? And then they look at the window, and they go and walk to the window, breaking their toys as they go. They just walk there, glassy-eyed, open the windows. No child locks. By the way, it's set. Actually, I'm not exactly sure when it's set. Does it say in this? No, wrong bloody one. Does it say when it's set? Plot. 1889. Oh no, I'm lying. 1906. 1910. We're getting there. This is set in 1910. Right. In 1906, Arthur Kipps, the Daniel Radcliffe character, his son's born. These little girls, this is in 1889. 3 young girls playing in their nursery. Right. So this is 1889. So we're moving from Victorian times into Edwardian times. Anyway, they leap out the window. They just... they do jump. Here we go. Cracking my voice is going. Off they go. Whee! So they've gone. They've jumped out the window. Hello, Joshua. Apologies for the... Oh, it's all right. Don't worry. Don't worry. And there's the dolls watching. And there's the room. And then we cut to the titles. There we go, 80 billion production companies. Another one there, Alliance Films. What have we got? CBS Films, Cross Creek Pictures, that's 2. Hammer Alliance Films, that's 4. A Talisman Production, that's 5. I mean, bloody hell. How many do they need? And there are 2 more, look. Exclusive Media Group and the UK Film Council. Unbelievable. But there we go. And we see there's Daniel Radcliffe. He's just had a shave. He's looking very unhappy. Then he holds the blade to his throat. We're not going to see it, are we? No, because it's not going to. Let's show. He's thinking about his wife. His wife died in died in childbirth. Hang on, I forgot to mute it. Didn't I? Did I? Then we see him there. He's obviously just had a shave with his cutthroat razor and he's holding the blade to his throat. He's obviously thinking about ending it all. I don't know why now. His wife died in childbirth 4 years ago. Maybe he's, but he's been unhappy ever since, according to his son. But anyway, we see that. And then then we see his wife standing behind him. There we go. And he turns round, and obviously she's not there. It's all in his mind, or is it? And then he's packing a suitcase, and there we see there's an overdue notice. Obviously, he's having some monetary difficulties, but he can still afford a nanny. Maybe nannies were inexpensive in 1910. I don't know. By the way, there is another version of this out there. It's based on the Susan Hill book. Forgot to mention that, which I've not read, obviously. But it's based on the book, which isn't an old book. You think there's some ancient tome, but it's not. It's from the 1980s. But it was made into a television movie in 1989, and it's okay. A British, I think ITV did it. In the UK, and it's okay. I actually watched it the other day. I thought I'll watch it and see what it's like because I've got it, and it's okay. It's not brilliant. A lot of people say, "Oh, the original's better than the one with Daniel Radcliffe, the Harry Potter and the Woman in Black." But no, it's not. It's not a patch on this. It's good, but it's it's not great. It's written by Nigel Neal, who's one of my favourite writers. Most famous for Quatermass. He also did the Stone Tape and some other stuff. And was most famous for Quatermass. But, you watch some Nigel Neal and people do tend to get hysterical in his scripts. And The Woman in Black is no exception. But it's worth a watch if you can find it. I think it's on Amazon. You could probably find it on Amazon. It's worth a watch. But whereas this one that we're watching now is very dark and moody and atmospheric, the 1989 one isn't. It's a bit stark. It's all done in a lot of broad daylight and brightness and stuff like that. There's not much creeping about going on. Oh, crikey. What's that, Joshua? With all those production companies, it sounds like no one wanted to put much money into this film. Interesting. Oh, yeah, maybe so. I mean, they spread the costs, don't they? I think that's what they do, don't they? Anyway, so he's packing, he's going on a trip. Then he goes to meet his son. His son's done him a lovely little calendar. So today's Tuesday. He's drawn a picture of Nanny and him. I can't remember the kid's name. Never mind, it's not important. And a picture of Daddy, who looks unhappy. Then up in the clouds, there's Mummy. Obviously, he's never known his mummy because she died in childbirth. So he's wishing he's saying his son's all saying, I wish he didn't have to go away, but he's saying he's got to. And then there's Mummy, Nanny, and there's me, and there's Daddy, who looks unhappy. And he says, why am I so sad? And the kid says, well, you're always sad. So that's Nanny. So he's got all these monetary woes, but yet he can afford to keep a nanny. Maybe she stays for free, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so there we go. And we find out that he's going on Tuesday to Kiffin, or whatever they call it, that place. And but on Friday they're going to follow him up on the train, so have a few days away at the seaside. So there we go. Then we cut to a pea super, a smoggy London street with very CGI smog. But so they're bidding them goodbye and saying, "Don't worry, I'll see you on Friday." So then off he goes, disappears. But Jack the Ripper's lurking about. No, he ain't, because it's 1910, isn't it? Jack the Ripper was 1886. Right, so he goes to his office, and apparently he's been sent to Eelmarsh House to deal with the estate of Mrs. Alice Drablow, who has just passed away, and he's got to go and deal with all that's going on up there. It's in the northeast somewhere, northeast of England. Obviously, he's in London. So he's to go and deal with that, and if he doesn't do it, he's going to lose his job, apparently. They're telling him this is your last chance, so I think they've probably given him time off, and they've been kind with him over these last 4 years, but, enough's enough. He says that this company is not a charity, so this is his chance to keep his job. So that's fair enough. So that's him laying down the law. So, and then off he goes to the choo-choo station. There it is. There's a good old steam train steaming by. Yay. The halcyon days of steam engines. So anyway. And also, by the way, a lot of people, being the 1910s, obviously in the late Victorian, early Edwardian eras, there was a popularity of spiritualism and mediums and all stuff like that. By the way, I noticed the other day, this is purely coincidental, mediums, I was doing a word game, like an anagram game, and I just noticed that an anagram of mediums is dummies. So that just shows you. Anyway, there we go. As endorsed by Arthur Conan Doyle, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. He were right into all this sort of stuff, and but he had people like Houdini and that were going around, debunking mediums and all that. I'll keep an open mind, but most of them are con artists, aren't they, to be honest. And we learned that he'd been to mediums to try and contact his wife. I think a lot of people did back then. They still do. No, they still do. So anyway, so what's happening here now? Where is he there? Oh no, he's thinking back. That's it. I remember now. I've just finished bloody watching this. He's thinking back to the birth of his son, and then we see him. It cuts to it, a couple of times. So he's arriving at. Obviously, he's got to change trains. Don't know why, but. He sees, happy families going on, so he's feeling sad. Last train to the northeast, 9 p.m. You see that, yeah. So he sits there for a few minutes, and then he's on the train to Griffin Gifford. Is that right? Or is it Griffin? No, it is Griffin Gifford, isn't it? Weird name. So off he goes. So he's snoozing, and then he starts thinking about the birth of his son again. He's dreaming about it. The nanny comes out and says, "It's a boy." And then we find out his wife's died. The doctor says he's very sorry. So he's got to rate. There you go. There. She's quite expired. And then he wakes up and he's across from Sam. I forgot his last name. Hang on, let me check. Sam. Cast. Kieran Hines. Where the hell are you? There he is. Sam Daly, of course. Why did I remember that? He finds us across the carriage from Sam Daly. We notice this carriage going up to the northeast isn't as well appointed as the previous train you were on. Because up here, up north, where I am, we're like it's like a time machine back in time. We're like 50 years behind everybody else. Anyway, so here he is. So he meets Sam Daly, who if he bonds a firm friendship with as the film goes on, and there's his dog Spider. So we find out that next stop is Griffin Gifford. So he arrives there, and he offers Arthur Kipps. He offers him a lift to the Gifford Arms, because he's got a snazzy car. There we are. Apparently, I don't know if it says it in this version. I never noticed it, but in the 1989 version, we find out he's a bit of a landowner, and he owns a lot of the businesses and properties and land in the area. But he's a nice fella. He's a nice fella. So they're all paying rent in the village and stuff. But so they're quite well off. What you up to? Are you being a cheeky monkey? My cat's being naughty. Stop it. Keep over. I'll get you. I'll get you. I'll get you. Scratching on things. Because you know I'm doing things, don't you? Eh? Yes, you do. Look at her. Never mind looking up at me with your big eyes. Anyways, dropped him off at the Gifford Arms, and he invites him over for dinner tomorrow night. And you're being off-putting, aren't you? Where were I? They invite him to the Gifford Arms. Invites him over for dinner tomorrow night, so he accepts. So there we go. So he goes in. He says, I've got a room booked. We sent a telegram and then tell him, oh, no, it's fully booked. You know, there's nowhere for him to stay. So he'll have to go back home. You know, they try and send him. They don't want him to stay. Then the landlord's wife comes and she says, you know, you can't send him out in this weather. So, and the landlord says, well, there's only the attic available. And we find out that the attic is the room we saw at the beginning. The 3 kids that jumped out the window were their kids. Were the triplets? I don't know. They all looked about the same age, didn't they? Ish. So, but anyway. So they put him up in the attic. To them talking about it. So up he goes, up the stairs. We found they've got a minor bird. You can't see it there. They've got a minor bird that can talk. But, you know, it doesn't say much. Behave, you cheeky. That cat of mine. So they go up to the attic anyway, and there we go see the remnants of the toys. Obviously, this was the girls' playroom, and you know it's still appointed as such. And there's a photo of. You can't see it. It's centred poorly. That was steady. There's the girls that we just saw leap to their deaths in 1889. So that's what that was like. That was 21 years earlier. Just realised. If this is 1910, they'd have been all grown up now. And they haven't aged, these two, have they? Are they dead as well? That'd be a bit of a mystery, wouldn't it? So it can't have been 1889. Maybe it was in the book. I don't know. As I said, I've not read the book, so I don't know. Anyway, that's a bit of a faux pas, isn't it? Got to do some faffing with this now. There we go. Anyway, where were we? So there's a photo, family photos there. Creepy dolls. We see a lot of creepy dolls in this film. There's the window, the infamous window that they leaped out from. And anyway, next day is to go to the solicitors, the local solicitors called Jerome, who are dealing with Alice Drablow's estate. There he passes some children playing. We see them again soon. There we go. H. Jerome, solicitor. This actor who plays Mr. Jerome, Tim McMullen. You probably know his face because he's got a weird face. He's only got what he was born with, but he's got weird eyes. There's obviously got some condition. I don't know what it is, but there's something about. But you know, he's a good actor. Anyway, he goes in. There's nobody about, and then Mrs. Jerome comes up the stairs, and obviously she's not expecting him. Mr. Jerome had gone to meet him at the Gifford Arms. Here he is. Anyway, he's got everything. He says everything of Mrs. Drablow's in that envelope. There he is with his weird. Oh, I can't see him. His weird eyes. But Arthur says, no, he's got to go to the house and sort out all the paperwork that's there as well. He understands there's quite a lot, and it'll take him till at least Friday to deal with it all. So obviously nobody wants him to go to the house for some reason. Look, lots of concerned looks. But he's got to go because he's Harry Potter, isn't he? You can't get past it, can you? It's Harry Potter, isn't it? Anyway, but what's his face? Jerome says, well, he's paid his man, Kegwig, who's got a name like a Harry Potter owl, but he's paid his man Kegwig to take him back to the railway station. But for another 6 shillings, he pays Kegwig to take him over to Eelmarsh House. I'm not sure who the actor is. He looks familiar. Kegwig. Daniel, God, I can't pronounce that. Sir Queer. I don't know. It looks like an actor, I think, may have worked with Steve Coogan when Steve Coogan did his Alan Partridge stuff. But it might not be him, I don't know. Anyway, he pays him 6 shillings, so he takes him over to Eelmarsh House. And then we see him going across the causeway. Then we see more kids. Right, so we're going over the causeway to the island where Eelmarsh House is. There it is. And every day it gets, covered over by the sea. They've only certain times you can get there. Then we see crossers. Obviously, people have lost their lives in the marshes. So they arrive. Kegwig says he'll be back at 5 to pick him up, when the tide's gone back out. So he leaves him there. So off he goes to the house. So he goes walking through the woods. Now you've got to keep looking in the background. I'm sure we see the woman in black in the background in a couple of shots. I'll probably miss them, but if we're lucky, we might see them. But we'll see what happens. So here he is walking. Obviously, there's a cemetery next to the house on the island. So walks around the corner, and then we see, there it is. There's Eelmarsh House. A view from the window. Obviously, something's watching him approach. So in he goes. So it's all dusty and very spooky. So it gets sorted. In the 1989 version, the house was actually quite nice. It wasn't like this at all. It was, quite nice, well kept, and it had electricity. There was a generator a steam generator. But in this, it's all candles and stuff because it's all spooky. And it's obviously not been well kept. I mean, when did Mrs. Drablow die? I don't know. But did she live in this squalor? I don't know. But maybe she did. Maybe she was just a crazy old bat. The water's not running well. It's a bit muddy, a bit cloudy, you could say. But so he sets about dealing with things, exploring the house and finding the paperwork and all that stuff. Here we go. There's the paperwork, and he starts finding letters and birthday cards for a little kid called Nathaniel, and letters from somebody called Jeanette Humphrey. But we'll get to that. But there he is. So he's going through the paperwork and stuff. And the hours pass. We have a passage of time. See, the tide's coming in. Look, it's covering up the causeway. So he's going through the letters. Obviously, putting the ones that he's read onto the spike. There we go. To Nathaniel, first birthday, best wishes, mother and father. And then we find there's another one later on that says, what's that, Joshua? So the original book was written and set in the 1980s. No, it was written in the 1980s, but I think it was set in, this time, the Edwardian times. Where were we? Yeah, but we see there's a card later on, another first birthday card that says it's from Mummy. So that's a clue as to what's going on. And here we go. A death certificate for young Nathaniel, drowned in the marshland. Body was not recovered. It says was not recovered there. I know you can't see that, but never mind. So we found out that young Nathaniel Drablow, what is Nathaniel Drablow? Hang on. Is that what they call him? Yeah, Nathaniel Drablow, age 7, drowned in the marshes, and his body was not recovered. There we go. Then what happens? I think he hears something then. I think he hears footsteps upstairs. So he looks up. There we go. hears the sound of footsteps. So he thinks, hang on, somebody's in the house with me. So up he trots upstairs. By the way, a few times we see shadows moving about, flitting by windows and stuff like that. There's a lot of that in this film. It's very atmospheric and spooky. So anyway, so he sets off upstairs. Long dark corridors. There you go. Very Salem's Lot, isn't it? Very Marston House-ish. I bet it were inspired by that. There's that a dark. Oh, I can't see it. Can't really see. You can just see it there, like a dark space there, where something emerges later. So anyway, so he comes down. So he's got his lantern. Passes several rooms with open doors, very dusty, and he gets this door at the end. It's locked, and he can't open it. None of his keys fit it, and actually, I'm sure we're here now. Let me just check. I'm sure we see the woman in black here fleetingly. I could be wrong, so I've gone too far. Hang on, it's before that. I'll just try. I'll just keep playing and stopping. Because I want to know. So I watched it earlier on. I thought, oh, did we see her then in the background? But it might not have been. It could have been something else. Could have been furniture for all I know. Come on, show us. As you're wandering round this old house, Harry. I thought it was before. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, it was a mirror. It's a mirror. I thought that was the woman in black. When there, you see there. But it's not. It's like a. Oh, you can't see it. There we go. Ah, steady. It's like a mirror or something, isn't it? There, in the bathroom. That's a bath, isn't it? So I'm wrong again. Bah. Anyway, never mind. Right, so he can't open this door. It's locked. None of his keys that he's got open it. So he thinks, right, never mind. So he has another wander round. He goes into this room. He finds a bird's nest, and there's like a chick, a crow. I think it's a crow. That's. It doesn't look long for this world, so he pops it back in the nest. There we go. And then a fully grown closed crow starts flying about, as we'll see in a minute. It does, honest. Oh, whatever. So he goes to open the window to let it out. As he's going to open the window, he sees the. There you go. He sees her in the woods. The woman in black. Can you see her? She's there. Look, can you see? There she is. And then the crow sort of like distracts him, and when he looks back, she's gone. There you go. Not there anymore. So anyway, so he goes out. He's calling out, saying hello, as you do, but he can't see her. Don't know where she is. So he goes through the woods. And then we start hearing the noises from the marshes, as though somebody's in trouble. We hear screaming and stuff like that, and the sounds of horses and stuff. So he rushes to help, and he's calling out what's going on. Gets lost in the mist. The fret. They don't call it that in this. In the 1989 version, they call it the fret, the sea fret. They just call it the mist or the fog in this. But it kind of gets turned around. So he's calling out. But then Kegwig, is it Kegwig or Kegwick? I can't remember now. Keckwick, no G's in it. Keckwick. Anyway, he's arrived, so it must be 5 o'clock. So it takes him back. Anyway, he goes to the police station. There's Arthur, and he says, "I heard somebody in trouble on the causeway to Eelmarsh House," and the police officer there says, "That's impossible. Nobody's used that causeway, since little Nathaniel Drablow passed away." And Arthur says, "But I saw a woman there on the island," and he looks. There's the policeman, and he says, "Just a moment," and he walks in the back. For some reason, we just need him out of the way. And then these kids come in, and they find out this little girl. We'd seen them earlier on playing, and she's drunk some lye. I'm not exactly sure what lye is, but I imagine it's not good stuff. Maybe it's like bleach or something like that. She's drunk some anyway, and so she's not feeling well. And Arthur, he calls for the constable to come, and then she starts coughing up blood. There we go. So she dies. So that's a kid's died in the village, and apparently it happens a lot. It happens a lot. There you go. So he's not happy. So he heads back to the Griffith Arms, and he starts hearing crying coming from upstairs. And then we see the minor bird, and we think, is it the minor bird, imitating crying? But then we see the landlord's wife. She's obviously been crying, so it probably the thing that's happened in the village has reminded her of what happened with her kids. So anyway, so they go back downstairs and they have a drink, and she tells him, go back home, go back to your own child and cherish him, and but go away from here because this is a cursed place. But he says he can't. So that's the end of that. So anyway, so he's going for dinner now, isn't he, with Sam Daly and his wife. What's his wife called? His wife is called Where are we? Elizabeth Daly. Elizabeth Daly, played by Janet McTeer. This is the family tomb. Little I forgot his bloody name as well. Nicholas. There we go. Little Nicholas Daly is in there because their kid has also been taken by the woman in black. So he just says, I'm just saying good night to Nicholas, and so Arthur says, oh, I'm sorry, and he says, oh, it's all right, it was a long time ago. And then he says, there's a place in there for me and the wife when we go, and we'll all be together one day. Remember that for the end of the film. So anyway, all right. Sam suggests that he doesn't mention what's happened in the village today to his wife because it might upset her. So anyway, so they go having a nice dinner, getting ready for dinner. So they sit down. There she's got dogs to replace the kid. I think they decided not to have kids again. Maybe they were too old. I don't know. But she's got dogs to replace little Nicholas. They still set a place for him though, apparently. But then she kind of goes a bit doolally, and she starts saying that Nicholas wants to talk to him, and she picks up a knife, and there's a painting of him. She picks up a knife and starts scratching into the table. Sam stops her, and they hustle her out. Hang on, are we going to see it, or is it going to be later? It might be later. We see what she scratched onto the window. They have a little chat about spiritualism and stuff like that. Sam doesn't believe it, and this is where Arthur says that he's been to see him, because of what happened to his wife. So there we go. It was a popular thing back then, and there he's remembering his lovely wife, and then I think. This is more paintings. I can't remember who does the paintings, if it's Sam or if it's... I'm sure she says it's Sam. I don't think it's Elizabeth. I think it's Sam does the paintings. But I don't know. It might have been Elizabeth. But there's a painting there that actually shows us what happened. There you go. That shows us what happened to young Nicholas. And we see later on what happened. Right, so where were we? And then he sees what she scratched. Have I missed it? I might have missed it, though. Basically, she'd scratched like a picture of somebody that had hanged themselves, like a cartoon drawing of, a hangman thing, into the table. This might be where he sees it. And there he sees she's playing with a cot, with the dogs in the baby's cot. Oh, you're there now, are you? Look, she's here now, his princess. Yes, you, never mind. You're coming to keep me company, eh? I'm busy doing stuff. Anyway, where were we? So what's he doing now? Oh, he goes to find his little calendar that his son made for him. I don't think his son did the writing. I bet his son didn't even draw it. That looks a bit good for a 4-year-old, doesn't it? Does to me, anyway. This is where he's going to see it. There, he sees the... see, I've gone too bloody far now. Sees the picture. There we go. Scratched into the woodwork. Somebody hanging themselves. We find out that little Nathaniel Drablow's mother hanged herself. His mother isn't Alice Drablow. His mother is somebody else, who we'll find out. Right, so what's he doing now? I can't remember. More kids. He's going to... he's going to see Jerome, the solicitor. That's what he's doing. But there's nobody about, as usual. You know, what a way to run a business, eh? But he hears a noise from downstairs, so he goes down and he hears a bit of a commotion through this locked, big wooden door that's locked. And he looks through, and there's a little girl in there. So you can see some dolls there. But as he's watching, a little girl's face appears, you know, when it's ready. When it's ready. And then she tells him to... Oh, for God's sake, never mind. See, it's gonna do it, innit? When you're ready. There we go. Little girl there. And that's the daughter of the Jeromes. And they keep her locked away for her own safety, you know, away from the woman in black. But as we'll see, it doesn't do her much good. But she starts screaming and saying, you know, go away, you killed that little girl that drank the lye. They're blaming him for it. Don't know why, but it's because he saw the woman in black. And he told the police, didn't he, that he saw her. And apparently when somebody sees her, that's when kids start dying. So he's getting the blame. So Sam says he'll take him over to Eelmarsh House. But there's a bit of a roadblock. The villagers have gathered. Well, a few of them have. And they want him to go away. They want him to leave the village. Because, you know, kids are dying. And that, well, a kid has died. And Sam says, oh, all right, I'll take him to the railway station. And with his kid in, he reverses back up after a little argument. But then he puts it in gear and the races through and, you know, the scatter. So he heads out on the causeway to the to Eelmarsh House. In the 1989 version, he couldn't drive over. He had a car in the 1989 version, but he said the causeway, you know, wouldn't support his car. Maybe they're just in that version. I think it was a Rolls Royce. I mean, this might be. I don't know, but in the older version, he has a pony and trap that he uses. But in this one, he uses the car because he needs the car later on in the film. I just remembered. So Arthur, I keep calling him Harry. Arthur says he's going to stay the night this time because Sam says I'll come back at 11. When the tide's, you know, gone back out. So I'll come back at 11 for you. And Arthur says, no, I'll stay. I'm going to stay through the night, work through the night. So Sam says, well, take the dog, take Spider, and he'll just for the company. So that's got a bit of company as Arthur. So in he goes, back into the spooky mansion. I think we see somebody here. Is it this one? As he's walking up, he looks up at a window. No, he don't. It must be later. It must be later. So he's going in, lighting all the candles. It'd be better if he had electricity like in the old version, but never mind. Now he's trying the keys in this door, and it won't unlock any of them. So he's looking through the other rooms. There you go. He finds a chest that's got just letters and stuff in. What does it say? Oh, it's Nathaniel Drablow's. I think this is where he finds the birthday card that says from Mummy. Then he looks under the bed and some more papers under there, and he starts gathering them. But as he's looking, there we go. We see a spooky hand appear. on the wind. Yes, princess. See a spooky hand appear, and then as it looks again, the hand disappears, but then there's a shadow that moves. There it goes. Oh, you saw that, by the way, did you? I don't know. Anyway, obviously nothing there. What are you doing? Are you being naughty? Eh? She's been very naughty as princess. She's here, look. She's here, look. You're being cheeky. The back of the chair. What's she like, eh? Anyway, where were we? So goes to investigate. He thinks there's somebody in there, but obviously there's nobody there because it's a ghost. Because this is a ghost story, obviously. But there's nothing there. He sees one of these. What do they call them now? Is it a zoetrope? Is that what they call them? I think it is anyway, isn't it? One of these little moving picture things. So he sets it off. There we go. And as he's watching, we get to... See, I've gone too far. Try it again. There we go. As he's watching, we see her face. There it is, look. There she is, the woman in black. I'd have shat myself. I would. Anyway, then we see the causeway being covered up. The island is isolated once more. So we start going through the papers again. He's finding all this stuff saying, "Get thee to hell, you harlot," and stuff like that. This is like from Alice Drablow and a young woman called Jeanette Humphreys. And obviously they didn't get on. But they were sisters, it turns out. But there we go, be gone and all that. But I think that's from Alice Drablow. She's been haunted by the woman in black. Spoilers: the woman in black is Jeanette Humphreys. Anyway, so he's going through all these papers and we're seeing shadows and stuff, and spooky things are happening. Taking the dog out. I think we're seeing in the background here. Hang on, is it this bit? Not in the background, we're seeing the foreground, but I'm sure we'll see in the background in a minute. He's going to check out the cemetery. That's what he's doing. I'm sure we see it. There we go. There she is. She's there watching him. But I'm sure we see it in the background as well. But I thought we saw her before, didn't we? And it turned out to be a bloody mirror. So what do I bleeding know? No, it's not there. Never mind. Oh, what's happened here? I'm pressing the wrong button. Oh, I tell you, I'm useless. So he finds the grave of Alice Drablow and I think little Nathaniel, even though he's not there. His body was never recovered. Spider's looking wary. I'm looking. She's there somewhere. I bet she's there. Oh, I think that's what I think. Is that her there? Have a look. Is that just another gravestone? I don't know. It could be anything, couldn't it? I'm seeing things. Anyway, he's hearing noises. And there we go. That's the grave of Jeanette Humphreys, dear sister of Alice Drablow, in God's hands. Turns out she hanged herself. She's the mother of Nathaniel, born out of wedlock. And, Alice Drablow and her husband adopted him. And I don't think they'd let her see him. So anyway, he heads back to the house. And this is where he sees there we go. There he sees her in the window. And I'd have shat myself again if I'd have seen that. There you go. And she goes, oh, spooky. And rather than just heading to the house, I'd probably just run away, But he can't get off the island, can he? Because he's trapped there. So he's going to try that room again. Later. He checks in this room. And he finds, I think this was Jeanette's room, I think. Because he finds... we see her again. He looks out the window, and behind him, we saw this in the trailer. In a minute. Better check, make sure, because make sure I'm not Getting, I tell you. I got a copyright strike. Hang on. I don't know. I could be going. I don't know. It just says, heads up, we've detected copyrighted audio. I don't know. Am I still going? I don't know. We will see. We will see. So I've got to be careful because it's, I think it's going again now. No, it ain't. Never mind. I'll keep going. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'll try not to play so much. Anyway, she appears behind him. Oh, there. We're just going to see it then. There she is. She appears behind him. But obviously she's not there and you don't see it. There he finds another little niche with some more letters in. And this is where he finds the birthday card that says from Mummy. There we go. My dear Nathaniel, happy first birthday. Oh, my love, Mummy. So that's obviously from... what's that? I'm still here, but I didn't hear anything from the movie. Oh, no. I forgot to mute it earlier on, but only for like a couple of seconds, you know. Anyway, my dear Nathan, happy first. This is obviously from his actual mother, Jeanette Humphrey. Anyway, so it goes back down. He's reading more letters from Jeanette Humphreys, who's castigating Alice Drablow for not letting her see her son, and apparently... You know, the Drablows made out that Jeanette Humphreys, you know, wasn't a fit mother, and you know she was mentally unstable, and all that. And from the letters, you can see that because they gradually get more scrawly and saying, you know, you will burn in hell and stuff like that. We see some of these photos. That's little Nathaniel there, and the Drablows, but in the background, in the windows, you see Jeanette Humphreys on occasion. There you go, but he's mine, and all that. She's lots of letters like that. So I meant no wonder they didn't want us to see him. What's this? I think this is the birth certificate saying that the adopted parents and the name of the mother is Jeanette Humphreys. There you go, another letter. Dear Alice. It's all scrawly, you know. Crazy writing. Anyway, oh, there we go. It's from one of the photos. We see her there. You can see her there in the background. So anyway, so he's been looking at all these. So we're finding out that little Nathaniel, who died in the marsh, was the mother of Jeanette Humphreys. She blamed Alice and her husband for his death, and saying, you know, they just saved themselves, left him, so that's why and then she hanged herself, so that's why she's become like an avenging spirit, taking all the children. And it says there that's the death certificate for Jeanette Humphreys. It says self-murder, they call it. They don't call it suicide, they call it self-murder. Anyway, so there we go. So we see him, we get this shot. We've seen this shot before of him sitting there and the door in the background, but the door's closed this time, but not for much longer. So he sits back, closes his eyes, I think he nods off. There you go, the door opens, she emerges. There's the woman in black. It looks like a woman in blue there. By the way, speaking of that, in the 1989 version, she was actually the woman in purple. So, but never mind. Here we go. You can see her there in the mirror. Oh, you can't. Hang on. There she is. Look. There she is in the... Oh, wrong side. There she is in the mirror. As you see that she moves in a minute. Go on. There she goes. Ah, spooky. So she's heading towards him. I'll have to move that back over a bit now. Hang on. So she's walking towards him because is she going to get him? I don't know. Scooby-Doo style. But Spiders realises she's there, starts growling, and then he barks. We see shots of the spooky ornaments, stuffed animals and stuff. Then we see a shadow over his shoulder. We're going to see it there. There you go. A shadowy hand. That sets Spider off. Spider's a she, by the way. She starts barking. And it wakes up Arthur. And obviously, she's not there anymore, but he notices the door's open. But then he looks at the photo, and the eyes are being scratched out. They weren't like that before, were they? But they are now. So it's more spookiness. So we're going to check that room again. Oh yeah, here's a noise. The noise of a rocking chair we can hear, but it's just like this banging noise that we can hear coming from behind that door. She's still there, this princess. Look, can you see her? What are you doing, you? Yes, you. You cheeky monkey. Can't see you, can they? Yeah. You'll be naughty. You can hear this banging noise. So we're going to check it out. He can't open the door. His keys don't work, and he can't break it down with his shoulder because he's a wimp. You're a wimp, Harry. So he thinks, right, I'm going to get an axe. So he heads back downstairs, grabs himself an axe, heads back upstairs, and of course, the door's open. So he heads towards it, axe in hand, and a candle to ward off evil. And then we see this rocking chair rocking away. So let me make sure we're streaming. Yeah, we're going again. We're going again. It might not have stopped me, but we see this rocking chair rocking by itself, and then we get the odd glimpse of Jeanette, the woman in black, in it. I don't know if we'll see it. And there's lots of creepy dolls, and the chair's going mental. And then it stops. Then it stops by itself. And then he sees her down the corridor in a bit. Not yet. He looks in the cupboards and stuff. And then he sees something under the wallpaper. So he pulls the wallpaper off. And we see all the creepy dolls watching him. Oh, this is a good bit, actually. It is a good bit, is this. As he's moving with a candle, it actually looks like the dolls are watching him across the room. I'll play it. There you go. It looks like the dolls are watching him across the room, but it's the reflection of the candle he's holding. I like that. That were a good bit. Anyway, he sees this, so he starts ripping the wallpaper off, and it comes off really easily. When I decorate, I wish wallpaper would come off this easily. There's the dolls watching. Yes, I was thinking, all these dolls, and there's one doll in particular. I'll try and land on it. It just gives me, Blade Runner, is it J.F. Sebastian? Is that right? That fella that has all the little robot dolls and stuff. Just reminds me of that for some reason. That scene. Anyway, he finds all this... I don't know what it's scrawled on the wall with. Is it blood? Is it paint? Don't know. You could have saved him. And I thought she was standing behind him, but I don't think she is. I'm seeing things in this film. But then he goes to the corridor, and then I think we see her coming down the corridor. Maybe not. It might be later. He goes into, I think this is Jeanette's room, and he looks out, and he sees, dolls are creepy. Yeah. He looks out, there we go. He sees something emerging from the marsh. And I presume it's Nathaniel, the spirit, ghost, whatever, of little Nathaniel Drablow, coming out of the mud. And as he's watching, a handprint appears on the window. Oh, I've gone too far now. There you go. And like an idiot, he puts his hand up to it, and then we get another jump scare. I think when it first came out, this, it was criticised for its like jump scares that were accompanied by loud noises, and I think they rejigged it a bit, so it was maybe for the home release, so it wasn't quite as bad. But I don't know. I didn't see it at the cinema, so I don't know what it was like. Anyway, he puts his hand up. I've gone too far again. Puts his hand up to the there you go, to the handprint, and his face is replaced by, there you go, Jeanette Humphries screaming. There we go, which freaks him out, as it would. So he's not having a great time of it, is he, old Arthur, at this scary old house. Then something's trying to get in through the front door. Spider's there. You can't see him, he's behind me, but Spider's there, sort of like growling at the door. But something's rattling the door handle, trying to get in. And Arthur calls out to it, "Oh, who's there?" and then it stops and then starts again. Even worse. But then he opens the door. Obviously, nobody's there. There you go. And then he goes out and sees all the I presume the ghosts of all the children that she's taken. You're doing some naughty stuff back there, you are you? Eh? Yes, you are. Oh dear. Sees all the kids there watching him. There you go. All spooky and ghostly. So he goes back in. I'd have just run straight back in. Locked all the doors, lit all the candles. There you go. He finds some creepy footprints. Very well defined footprints, aren't they? And very, each one's exactly the same as the previous. This gives me House on Haunted Hill remake vibes. We saw lots of footprints in that. Not House on Haunted Hill, The Haunting remake. That's what I'm thinking of. That rubbish one. Anyway, so he follows the footprints and it takes him to the room that were locked. I think this was Nathaniel's room. We see the footprints lead to the bed. There you go. That's the doll that reminds me of Blade Runner. It looks too real, too realistic looking. Well, particularly the eye. Anyway, so he goes to the into the room, and we see there you go. He sees not Alice, Jeanette hanging herself. There you go. So he sees that. So that freaks him out, obviously. His candle goes out, so he's trying to light it. He dropped it, picks it back up, lights it, and hang on. And when he lights it, he sees young Nathaniel. In a minute, he sees young Nathaniel. Come on, light the bugger. There we go. You got young Nathaniel screaming at him, all covered in mud, because he's out in the marshes, remember. So he legs it, as you would. Locks himself in another room, that's it. He locks himself in another room. I don't know which room this is, but then somebody starts coming out of the bed. Presume it's another one of the kids is emerging from the bed, so he gets out of that room and runs downstairs. Opens the door. Opens the door, and it's Sam. Sam's arrived. Oh, see, I've gone too bloody far. See if I can do it manually. Oh, see, I can't look. Go on, go back a bit. Go on. Oh, for Pete's sake. Never mind. It's Sam anyway. Sam's arrived to pick him up. So it must be morning now. Must be. So he takes him back off the island because the tide's gone out. There we go. And he's told him all about it. But Sam, Arthur says, you don't believe me, but Sam says, the mind can play tricks and all that. I think he really does believe, but he doesn't want to believe. And Arthur does say that. He says, you don't want to believe. So anyway, he wants to do, I think, send a telegram to stop his nanny and son from coming. But they get, oh no, I'm lying. I'm getting ahead of myself again. They get into the village and there's a fire at the Jeromes. That's it. And the Jeromes are outside, and Mrs. Jerome screaming. I think it's Lucy. I think she's still in there. So Arthur goes running in, and he goes down, and then he sees her. Breaks open the door. Sees the young girl standing there in the beyond the flames with an oil lamp in her hand. But then she looks over, and we see I've gone too far now, but we see, there you go, he looks over, and then we see, we're not going to see it because I've gone too far, haven't I? Tells her, says, I'm coming to get you, I'll find a way, don't worry. And then she looks over, and Arthur looks over, There we go. We see her standing in the corner, the woman in black. So then little Lucy just drops the oil lamp and it, ignites herself. And that's what happens, you see. The woman in black makes these kids do these things. Like we saw at the beginning with the 3 girls. She looked at them and made them jump out the window. And obviously she made the little girl drink the lye. And now she's made that little girl burn herself to death. Anyway, so Arthur can't save her, so he gets out. And obviously everybody's distraught. Well, he's there with his weird face. So anyway, so Arthur goes back to Sam's house and he's cleaning himself up, thinking about his wife. And so anyway, Sam comes in with a drink and have a little chat. And he's being very fatherly. Is Sam? So there's nothing you could do. So Arthur goes to talk to Elizabeth. There she is at the family tomb with their son Nicholas inside. And Arthur asks her what happened, and she said, there were. Oh, she said that. She says, "You've seen her, you've seen the woman in black," and then she tells him all about it. That Nicholas were playing on the beach with his friend, and they just went out, and the woman in black obviously saw them, and they went out and just got, the tide or the currents swept them away, and they drowned. But then she kind of becomes possessed, presumably by the spirit of Nicholas or something. She starts speaking in her own voice and the kid's voice as well. And she grabs a stone, and then she's showing us what happened with them. With Nicholas, and then that's what happened with the little girls. There, she's standing in the background, and she grabs a stone and she starts scratching something on that plaque there. You can just make out. And Sam arrives and bundles her away, and then we see that it's a picture of a train and sad Arthur and little what's his face? I can't remember the name of his kid. What's his kid called? Does it say? Joseph Kipps, Arthur's son. There we go. Anyway, where were we? Yes, he sees it's a train. So obviously Elizabeth has been alerted that something's going to happen to Arthur's kid. So he decides he's going to send a telegram. There we go. This is the bit now. I do get ahead of myself sometimes. He's going to send a telegram to stop him from coming. But they get to the there you go. Get to where the telegraphs can be sent, and that's burnt down. It must have been next door to the Jeromes. So obviously they can't do that. And apparently the nearest village is an hour away, by car. So it'd been too late. They'd have set off. So I think it's going to take them to so they're on the way. Is Nanny and Joseph Kipps. So Arthur decides what they've got to do. They've got to get little Nathaniel out of the marsh and reunite him with his mother Jeanette, and that should let her rest in peace and all that, and stop her killing all the other kids. That's what he's reckoning anyway. And Sam says, well, they've tried to get the kid out, but they can't. And Arthur says, but they didn't have what you've got, and obviously his car. So they head out. There we go. It's night time now, and he's got a rope, and he's going to go out and find the buggy that they were in. So he goes in, dives down into the murky, marshy muck. He says he finds it, so he takes the cross down, and he finds the buggy, and he ties the rope to it. So they starts pulling it out. Out it comes in a minute. There we go. Out it comes, pulling it out with the car, And they also finds the body of little Nathaniel. It's obviously well preserved in the mud. But he finds little Nathaniel's body, and so they get him out and take him back up to the house. Sam says, just put him in the ground, give him a proper burial. But Arthur says, no, we've got to do something else first. But Arthur has a bath. He does that first. And then so he obviously got some clean water out of the taps, obviously. He must have just let it run. Anyway, he takes the body of little Nathaniel, up to his room, as we'll see. There you go. Taking it up. There it is. It's on the bed, wrapped in a sheet, and he's got to wait now for what's her face, Jeanette, to arrive. There you go. He's putting things around the little fella's body, the birthday cards and stuff, and the letters from his mum. And he turns all the toys on, so they're all making noises, all the automatons and stuff. Meanwhile, Sam, he notices that, and then sees his son. Oh, in a minute. That's Arthur going around turning all the toys on. He's waiting for her coming. Arthur sees his son, Nicholas. There we go. He looks round, sees his son Nicholas in that little room where the woman in black emerged earlier on. So he follows him in, but he's not there. And then he gets locked in, and as he looks through the window, he sees a scary girl outside screaming. No, he's obviously seen it. Can't get out. He's locked in that room. They obviously wanted him out of the way for some reason. So meanwhile, Arthur's waiting for Jeanette to arrive, and arrive she does in a moment. There's that creepy doll. Here she comes in a minute. Come on, where are you? There she is. She's appearing now, and as she comes down the corridor, the lights start turning off, the candles extinguish, and there she's in the corner, and she's gonna come screaming at him. In the 1989 version, you can't see it, can you? Hang on. There she is, look. In the 1989 version, the most famous scene in the 1989 version is the woman in black screaming at Arthur Kipps, over his bed. And, at the time, it was probably very powerful, but, it's not that good these days. It's okay. But I think this is like a recreation of that scene. It's not exactly the same, but because the stories are slightly different. But anyway, here she is. She's there you go. She was screaming at him. There you go. But he thinks thinks everything's okay now. She's disappeared. The door opens for Sam. So Arthur thinks she's satisfied now. She's seen her son. They go and put him back in her grave. They open up her grave in a very tidy way. Is it supposed to open like that? I don't know. But it's a good job she wasn't just buried, isn't it? Because they open this up, and there you go. Coffin's down there. Good job she wasn't just they have to dig her out. Very convenient, isn't it? So he gets in, opens up the coffin. She's in there, look. That's Jeanette Humphreys. And they put little Nathaniel in with her and close it back up and head out. And so Arthur thinks he's done his job. He has laid the ghost to rest. Nothing else shall happen. In the 1989 version, this was Eelmarsh House was burnt down at the end. It doesn't in this. It's a good job it didn't in this because there's a sequel, isn't there? But never mind. There we see the house. And apparently she's not at rest because we keep hearing her whispering, never forgive. Because it says there, I will never forgive. And she keeps saying that over and over again as we see the house. There you go. Behave, you. You're scaring me. Little hand on my shoulder. You being cheeky monkey. Eh? Are you being a cheeky monkey? I'm trying to do things. God, freak me to death then. He's put a little paw on my shoulder. Anyway. So there we go. Never forgive. So she's not at rest. Anyway, Arthur and Sam arrive at the railway station just in time for the train to arrive. That was good timing, wasn't it? So Nanny and little Joseph get off the train. Sam arrives and Arthur. There you go. He greets them. Arthur's decided that they're heading straight back to London. So he tells Nanny, go buy some tickets. She must have all the money. Go buy some tickets and we'll set off back on the very next train, which is about to pull in, actually. But then he's talking to Sam. And as he's talking to Sam, little Joseph, there we go. There you can see that. That's the next train arriving there. You see there. Little Joseph looks over and sees somebody. There we go. And sets off walking. Obviously sees the woman in black on the other side of the platform opposite. Arthur notices, says, oh no, Joseph's on the track, and they all run, and, see, I've gone too far. They all notice, there you go. Arthur tries to get Joseph, and, the train's coming, and does he get away? Probably not. So, that's the end of that. But then we see... Oh, that was it. Hang on, let me see. There you go. This is Sam's point of view. Sam's watching. As the train goes by, he sees the kids. I think he sees her as well. Yes, he sees the woman in black as well. There you go. She's screaming at him. Nanny is obviously distraught. But then we see Arthur. And he's there with little Joseph. And everything's all right, but he says, Sam, where are you? So they're nowhere to be seen. So obviously the train splattered them. They are now dead. But the woman in black's nowhere to be seen either. And then little Joseph says, who's that lady? We think, ooh, heck. But it turns out it's his mother. There she is. Look, she's come for him. So they're all together as a family, albeit dead. So they're happy and they can go off to heaven or wherever, you know. All that stuff. So the woman in black's not very happy now. So the camera moves in on her, looking not happy. And then the film ends with the woman in black looking at us. Of course, where next? You ready? Where next? That's the end of the film. Press the wrong button again. There you go. The end of the film. There you go. Credits. There you go. That's it, a really good film. I really like it. And I think it's miles better than the 1989 version. It's good and it's spooky and it's really well made. What are you up to? Oh, she's been naughty, is this cat? It's really well made. I don't know, has James Watkins made any other films since then? I don't know. But this is obviously the high point of his career, I should imagine. But yeah, it's really well done and I really like it. And there was a sequel came out a few years later, weren't they, called Woman in Black, Angel of Death, which I really like as well. A lot of people say, it's not as good as the original. But, it isn't. But it's still good. I still enjoy it. I still like watching it. So there we go. So there we are. That's it. The Woman in Black. Give it a go. It's well worth a watch. It's spooky. It's got some nice jump scares. It's not gory at all. It's just creepy. And it's a good ghost story. It's well worth watching. So we'll leave it there. I haven't decided what next week's film is. I don't know. We've done like ghost things 2 weeks in a row, so I'll try and find something a bit different for next week. But we will leave it there. So thanks, Joshua, for joining in again. I hope I'm still going. Let's have a look. Does it say? It still says excellent connection. It doesn't say I've been stopped at any time. We'll see what happens. Anyway, so as I said, we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching. Thanks, Joshua, again for sticking with it. So until next time, don't have nightmares and I'll see thee. Oh, hang on, where's my thumb? It's there. I'll see thee. Where's my outro? It's there.